Welcome to the Out on Loan podcast. As always, I'm your host, Jeffrey, joined by my lovely co-host here in the Isaac. Matchday day recap number 3 for the Out on Loan podcast. We should be coming back for another podcast with the gang tomorrow. But yeah, Matchday 3 is just about to end. I think we have Panama playing later today against Croatia in a bit.
Kicking
I
off like
think right
right
now,
now, I think
just
actually.
literally right
Yeah.
now. So we'll keep you updated for those scores. And I think we end off the night with no better than Colombia playing against, I believe, the Republic of Congo. But as always, before we get started, please shout out to Robin Stone Pictures and Mr. Noah Randall, we will be debuting his match day, his new match day um graphics and templates for our episodes starting tomorrow. And then obviously for our watch alongs, which we can't wait. And I think if time goes right, uh Mr. Hausen, I think we will be doing our first watch along ever on the podcast here this coming Wednesday, not tomorrow Wednesday, but next Wednesday,
Yeah.
with the USA's round of 32 matchup, as we know, qualified just a few days ago, I believe on Friday, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe.
Yeah,
Yes.
Friday.
Yeah.
Yes, Friday. Beautiful 2-0 result against Australia. We'll talk more about them coming tomorrow because I think we need the whole gang, us Americans, in there. But very happy for the USA. We're extremely proud. I know it's been a few days since then, but real quick, man, I just want to say I'm so proud of the fucking team, man. I mean, just everything. The vibes are immaculate. The team performance was just another dominant one as we saw against Paraguay. Even without Christian Pulisic, it's just an amazing result. And I can't believe we were just nervous about being second place, and I was wrong. I put my hands up. We were wrong about a lot of things. But I'm just happy to see my prediction be wrong, dude. I don't care that my prediction was wrong. I really do not care. I'm so happy we're first, and we're looking to be one of the most dominant teams out in the World Cup, and I'm just extremely happy about that. But um, we'll start off with our arch nemesis as always when it comes to politics and world history. I really like that transition that it came up. But we'll start off with England. 0-0 draw today against Ghana. Very slow, very stagnant. I think that game was in Boston, correct? Shout out to Boston.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, we'll go a little bit into it with the fans and stuff, but the city of Boston has really been blessed with seeing. Now, I'm not a big fan of some Boston sports fans and teams. Obviously, I'm born and
You
raised
can say
LA man, so obviously I'm not a big Bruins, not a big Red Sox guy, and obviously not a big Celtics guy. But especially, me being a Lakers fans and we being Yankees fans, we have that rivalry in there. But you know what? The city always had that stigma of just being very boring. But I think they've been really blessed these last few weeks and days, just getting these high intense matchups. I think what was it yesterday? Norway played. No, that was in MetLife. Sorry, but the day before they were playing in. I think they were playing in Boston. Obviously the Scots were there. And then they had, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, France too. They had a, oh
Mm-hmm.
no, that was Philly. But they've had
Philly,
some
I think, is the
good stuff. They've had some games and the vibes around there have been amazing. But they had England today, and it's not a great performance from England. Very slow and stagnant, as I just said. What were your thoughts, real quick, on the game?
Yeah, I mean, for first, I want to echo everything you said about the fans. I think it's been great. I think it's been one of the beautiful things that a lot of European fans have got to experience coming over to the States. I don't want to say that they were undervaluing our dedication to our sports fandom. I think that is very well documented that the U.S. is very pro sport in a lot of aspects. But I think there was a bit of lack of understanding of sort of what the sports culture looked like in major cities, in your Boston's, in your New York cities. I think you've seen it in places like Buffalo, not so much for the World Cup, obviously, but for other places. And yeah, you have these places that are very apt to welcome in fans through sports. Uh, it's no shocker that I'm just taking this as like how Europeans view the U.S., especially with a lot of the current news cycle. Can be very chaotic, can be accused of being very racist, especially the sort of the culture, the sphere that the U.S. sort of exists in. And even if that is true in places and in those cities, I've always found that sports has been that unifier for everything like that. And I think you're seeing it as another example through the World Cup. It doesn't matter what country they're coming from, whether it be Scotland or anything like that. You're really seeing those fans embraced in really all those cities. Boston, no different. If anything, maybe the best. I think Boston has been very well apt to handle all of that. So first off, huge. Switching now gears to England, I would agree. I think the easy comparisons are going to be labeled against like the U.S. game back in 2022 with the 0-0 draw. I think even in round two as well, and sort of the, oh my God, how far can this England team go? And yeah, I think you're seeing maybe, I guess, some of the limitations of maybe if Kane isn't on his day, how is that offense going to perform over the course of 90 minutes? Because I don't think it was Kane's best day by any means. I think it wouldn't be shocked to say if it's one of his worst games you've seen in his past recent like stretch of months, and that's more just because of how good he looked at the end of the season. I'm not saying he was terrible today by any standards. I think he did miss one chance off of like an O'Reilly header that I think a lot of people think should have gone in, but I'm not going to say by any means that he was the reason they didn't win that game or was solely responsible for that. Yeah, I mean, you weren't tested that much. So, I mean, defensively, you looked fine in those moments. I mean, you looked good against Semenyo, who I think really was their most dynamic forward going forward. But then you're still going against like an IU at late 30s. So, like, there is some of those worries of like, how much can you take that defensive performance into even the Mexico, in the Mexican arena against the France, against the Spain, whoever they may draw. So I think there are maybe some of those worries that are going to creep in from that. I think, again, it just comes down to even jokingly what we've seen with Arsenal and some other Prem teams. It's their clinicalness. It's how clinical can England be. Madueke was missing shots. I will say Saka looked very good when he came on. He had a very good chance that the Ghanaian goalkeeper had to punch away in like I want to say like the 70th or 80th minute. But overall, like you said, I think boring and stagnant was the easiest way to sort of describe this England performance. And it's one of those where, yeah, I think if you're going to get this performance turned up against a good opponent, expect them to lose. This is an England team that is capable of going out and getting knocked out against a good team. However, I still think we've seen their highs and we know how good this team can be. That I'm not like worried, and I don't think this is a tournament ending for them. But it is something to keep your eyes on.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree. I was just not impressed with how slow they were. Again, like we said at the Portugal game, I think last week, and we'll go on to them soon as well. I hate when teams start off slow, and it just felt like everyone was off rhythm. Everyone just felt slow and stagnant. I thought Jude wasn't at his best today.
Mhm.
I just I'm gonna defend my boy here as always. I just don't understand why he got subbed out. I really don't understand the sense of that when you have a player that's track record at his best is during those late 90-minute winners, overhead kicks, and you want to take him out for a player that is not gonna change the game with if he has the similar play styles to a Drew Billing, which is height, athleticism, and all these type of things. And I don't know. That's my one criticism, which is why take him out. And if you are gonna take him out or you're gonna move him out that 10 position, maybe drop him deeper and see if you can get something. If you're gonna bring on an Eze, who just again just wasn't at his best, if you're gonna play him at center
Yeah.
mid, but I just it was just a totality of it. Everyone was just slow off. Kane missed that one thing. Shout out to the Ghanaian Wish. She probably did get that shit on point. I mean,
Yeah.
I was just I forgot about it because I fell asleep that first. I'm not even joking. I literally fell asleep. This team was making me that like 20 minutes and I just fell asleep. I'm not even joking. But yeah, I mean they weren't tested defensively today, obviously because you don't. It's not. No offense to them. Like Semenyo is not gonna be the one to really destroy you and give you problems. It's just one player. No offense to him. It's just that's just not the player that's gonna give you that much trouble. But I mean, I'm not going to overreact too much because the benefit for England is I don't think they're a team that are going to really rely on full on breaking low blocks for the rest of this tournament because they will be
Mhm.
going up against elite teams. And I think with England, the best thing that we saw, especially that game against Croatia, is they're a team that I think are going to really be strong suited when they sit deep and hit teams on the counter attack and just
Mhm.
use pace and counter, whatever it may be. So for me right now, I don't think, besides maybe Panama, and I don't even think Panama are that strong defensively. No offense to them, they don't have Premier League players like Thomas Partey and Semenyo and all those midfielders out there with experience too. I don't think it's going to be enough. But when they go up against an England, I mean a Spain, even a France potentially, who are just weaker defensively, a Germany or even a Mexico, for example, I just see them pulling through because they have the pace and the power to attack.
Mhm.
But against these low blocks, maybe that's why France is probably going to be a trouble.
Yeah.
If France do decide to go and approach that game, we're just going to sit deep and just hit them on the break because we have those players to break those teams. Then sure, why not? But
And that's where I'm really
yeah,
interested. Like you
disappointing.
mentioned the Mexico game, because I think Mexico is
Yeah,
that opponent. They're good enough, I think, to sit in for a little bit, and
right.
they have that pace to catch them. Let alone that
You're right.
environment feeding off of that. That's going to be a tough game that
Yeah,
I think they could. If you don't play your cards right, if you're not on your ball, that could be the shocker.
right.
I think.
Yeah, definitely. And maybe in another day, if Kane makes that, it's 1-0, 2-0 grind,
Mhm.
and you get through. And yeah, and I'm looking at that Mexico game where like they might have trouble. They really might have trouble. Again, the environment, the fact that I think Mexico will probably approach that game where like they're just gonna sit deep and just play it on the break. With Quinones and Raul Jimenez in there, who are, in my opinion, just two. It's two monster head. Like that's better than just one Semenyo. No offense to
Mhm.
Semenyo, but it's just That's two badass motherfuckers right there. So we'll have to wait and see with England, but I think it's an eye opener. Like, hey, you're gonna go up in these round of 16, these round of
Hmm.
32s. You're going up against these teams that are gonna sit deep against you.
Yeah.
This is where like maybe you did want a Trent. Maybe this is where you did want like maybe a Cole Palmer, for example. But
Mhm.
I mean, I think Jude, Rogers, and Eze should be enough to like where you come into the game and you should be doing better. And I think even Saka, when he came into the game too, I thought they created more chances with him on
Hmm.
because I think he's also one of England's top best players too. So
Yeah.
once he gets into a rhythm as well, I think he'll play the next game against Panama. And then, we'll see him in the round of 32 where like maybe they do get something. So they're gonna need Saka. I think if they're gonna try to break low
Hmm.
blocks, Saka's definitely gonna have to be the guy that's
Yes.
gonna have to do that. And I think today we saw a little bit of that. He just looked
Yeah.
explosive. He looked, good as always. But
He should start versus Panama. I think it's pretty clear. I think after
yeah,
today's performance.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's gonna definitely start. There's no way you don't start him, especially after the struggle that you had with Madueke and I don't know. Please, I mean, I was gonna say Southgate. Jesus. Tuchel, just please don't start Madueke. Like, just please start Rashford or Gordon, whatever, but don't start Madueke. Just that's it. The experiment with him is done. You had your blast. That's it, bro. That's why he doesn't start for Arsenal. Literally, that's why. I guess we'll go into Portugal. The opposite of what they were last week.
Hmm.
We did come out. I was very vocal. I said, please do not play fucking slow the next time you go up against Uzbekistan because Uzbekistan has players in that team that can make it trouble. Even Colombia had trouble breaking them down at certain points. They did. It took like a wonder pass from Luis Diaz, who's been absolutely amazing in that first game. We didn't get a chance to talk about him, but he was absolutely amazing that one game. Um, to finally break that team, and I was very impressed with Portugal today. Shocked by the lineup that he still started with Neto and he put in João Felix for this game. But hey, man, when you come on with a 5-0 result where you just felt like you could have gotten 6 to 8 goals potentially, that works in your eyes. So Roberto Martinez got it right today, but we'll have to wait and see for the rest of the tournament. But obviously the big talking point was Ronaldo getting his 2 goals, getting a double. Obviously very happy for him, man. I'm, you know me, Madrid fan here. Any hate towards Cristiano, like this is hard for me to do because this is a guy that I grew up watching, scoring goals, winning the Champions League, semifinals runs, the greatest UCL player of all time. I'll defend that for the rest of me, but just happy that I got his 2 goals and he looked a little bit sharper today. He looked a little bit more active, a little bit more mobile. Um, and I thought his IQ today was just better in terms of his movement and his runs. I was the one big criticism I gave him after that Congo game, but today I thought he was more involved. I thought his combination with certain players was good with Bruno. I think also with Leao in that second half too. When Leao came in, I thought he was good as well. So good for him, man. Finally, that kind of stress with him not scoring in 11 games is just out the way. He got a double, could have got a potentially a hat trick, but good for Portugal as well. 4 points now. And they go off against Colombia in that last game, which would be massive because I don't know if you saw for that game. Whoever gets second place, I think, has to go up against like England,
Yeah.
Spain, France, and then a potential Argentina in like the semifinals. Yeah, that's if look, I don't think Portugal are ready yet, and if they want to have an easy route to potentially win this thing, they need to go in the other bracket. So the first place is a must if you don't want to go up against those top teams. So
Mhm.
I don't know. Any thoughts on Portugal? I thought they looked good today, but I'm not
I,
gonna
I
overreact too much.
I would say I'll bite my tongue on that. I don't. No offense. I'll be a little more disrespectful. I think, like you said, they were a lot better than I think what I thought they would be going into this tournament. I'm not rating these performances against Uzbekistan, and I think it's fair to say, like, if I've been hypocritical for that, like, I think I wouldn't say hypocritical. Like, I think I even said that for the Messi performance, where I gave credit to the 3 goals. Same thing. I'll give credit. It's not easy to score 2 goals in a World Cup, regardless as much as I may have made light of it, sort of in personal group chats. Like, it still takes a lot. So, I mean, quality is where quality is due. Credit where credit is due, I should say. Like, they were 2 good goals scored. At least I will say more the second one, at least for sure. Um, I'm just not rating a performance versus Uzbekistan that much, because I think this is a lot of what they had to do, which I think you touched on. Like there's just no way you can come out looking how you did, playing the way you did in game one in this game. You're sort of first two. Martinez is, because if you come out as bad as you do in that last game and you lose today or you whatever, there's a chance you could be fired. I mean, Ronaldo. I mean, there's no way you had to play better than how you did last game. You know what I mean? You have 2 games like that in a row. Then the questions about benching you really come in. Not that I think that was ever going to happen. Has obviously a good performance today. It's obviously going to be he's going to keep producing for them throughout the rest of the tournament. I'll wait till Colombia. I mean, quite frankly, like it's just not a team I'm rooting for as much on in general. It's not a team I think I'm higher on in general. So I just need to see against Colombia. I'll be honest. I didn't really take away anything from 5-0. I think Bruno looked a lot better today. Bruno just like I think I even heard his name a lot more. I feel like when watching that first game, he just felt
Completely agree.
invisible and he sounded invisible. So I think for him to, but again, it's another one where I'm like, I'm saying all of this, and then it's just for Uzbekistan because I think this is also something that like it has been said against Ronaldo for a lot of his career for like the goals he scored, the international level
Yeah,
performances. And Aritra did correctly bring up he has obviously performed for them more of note in Nations League and stuff like that. But
but
it's
it's the World
these
Cup where
Uzbekistan goals. It's like these.
yeah,
I'm sorry, like I'll just when you
right,
score that knockout round goal, when you score maybe a goal or two against
right,
Colombia, and if you're important for their win, then yes, I'm sorry, I'm not taking the 5-0 Uzbekistan as like
right.
he's back. I can't.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. That's the one criticism that I think we can all give Ronaldo is that's the one juju behind him, right? Is the knockout, which is why I think we're all happy for him just because
Mm-hmm.
of the whole. Wherever Ronaldo goes, Messi will always follow him, right? And that's just the sad fucking reality because that's the one player that he's been in competition with for the majority of his career. That's the one player he's been compared to for the rest of his whole career, and will potentially get compared to for the rest of his career because that's who he's been going. I mean, that's his arch nemesis, bro. Like that's just what it is. These are like two comic book stories. These are two
Mm-hmm.
characters. I don't know. You bring fucking Dragon Ball Z into this shit. Uh, whatever the fuck it is, bro. Like it is what it is. Batman v Superman. Spider Man versus I don't know who else, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, yeah.
So a lot of the pressure was just him. Like this is a man that Portugal have never gone far. World Cup is the one tournament that Ronaldo has never succeeded in, with like the fact that he has no knockout goals. He only has 10
Mm-hmm.
goals in the World Cup in total. Messi just won the World Cup last year. Messi comes in, and Argentina are firing up to start against Algeria and Austria. Messi has 5 goals, Mbappe has 4, Holland has 4. Ronaldo
Mm-hmm.
has a great team around him this time in terms of names, in terms of on paper. There's just a lot of pressure, especially after that first game, because everyone was waiting to see what he will do, and he
Mm-hmm.
didn't. He failed that first game because he wasn't that great. He missed too many chances, and Portugal just came out very flat. But the second game, it was just like, what you need to give us something, and I'm happy that he
Yeah.
did, man. He just something to show like he can still start for Portugal potentially, and but yeah, like I was happy, but at the back of my head, man, I'm like, dude, I know it's against Uzbekistan, but I really need to see that in the. I think we're gonna go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
If he scores that knockout, like in the knockout rounds.
Yeah.
Not even the round of
I know.
32. I don't
Yeah.
even want to count that. I want to see him in the round of 16 in the
Yeah.
quarterfinals. I don't want to see that shit in the round of 32. I want to see that in the quarterfinals, just for his sake to get that juju off the way, bro.
Yeah.
Like get it out the way,
And
man.
and part of that's going to come sort of with the ego persona. I think it's fair to say, like, not even as an insulting way, like he has a huge ego. That's sort of the Ronaldo brand. That's kind of how he's sort of evolved in this later half of his career. I mean, like you even see that, like, what the podcast clip where he's talking about like how he views goals in the Saudi league the same as if it's like the French league or something like that, or the Spanish league, where it's like there's like that sort of stuff where like I'm not saying it's okay, but it not warrants because that I mean that's being allowed. Like that's where it's going to come from. I mean, a lot of the stuff with Messi where like there isn't as much of that like vocal personality that draws in that conflict and that confrontation that comes with sort of what that superstar personality entails. Ronaldo's has come from that not solely from that. Again, a lot of it is it's come from the talent, but I think the persona he sort of adopted, the way he's viewed, even maybe just viewed through the media, which is the same sometimes for Messi. It invites that dialogue. It invites that controversy. It even creates that hatred. It can create that
Oh
animosity.
yeah,
It's that
no,
media
I
machine
completely
that
agree.
follows them as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's a lot of things that he's done where I'm just like Ronaldo. You should have just don't say that, man. We love you, bro,
Like,
but
why do
that's
you got to
just
be with
not
Piers
right.
Morgan? Like you're friends with
Yeah, and
Conor
then the interview
McGregor.
with
Like
Piers
it's like
Morgan.
stuff like that where like you guilt by association. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot of times where he just brought himself that trouble. I think the fan base too. I mean, we saw how
Mm-hmm.
awful some of the players on Portugal are treated. Like, we'll give them criticism, but don't go out and fucking DM their fucking wives and all this crap. Like, and like we said, I think the João Neves comment was warranted. Like, Ronaldo has to be a part of the team. Just has to be a part. It can't just be dependent on one guy because again, he's 40 fucking one, bro. He can't
Mm-hmm.
carry you guys. He needs to incorporate himself, and the players around him need to incorporate himself. Okay, he's a part of our team. We need to
Mm-hmm.
take the load, and I think they took that job and that responsibility today. I thought Bruno was just absolutely amazing today. I thought Conceição when he came into the second half was good. I thought João Felix did what he had to do. I thought Vitinha was quicker and releasing the ball
Mhm.
faster whenever he got into those zones. Neves was amazing covering ground as usual and getting into those pockets as well. And I thought Ronaldo associated him really well. But again, we're waiting for the Colombia game, obviously. But even then, if he
Mhm.
scores two, like I just want to see him in the knockout rounds. I want to see them
Yeah.
go far to the semis. Like I don't even think he's never made a World Cup semifinals, and I want to see that for him. But that's part where I need the team to play better for him because again, he's not the best player on his team. He's not anymore, and we can
No,
accept that.
I was
We
honestly
need
looking
those
like, is
other
he even in
players.
the top 50% of that team in retrospective to their positions?
Because I'm
Like
taking right
Nuno is a
now. I
better
mean,
fullback. Like Bruno is a better attacking midfielder. Vitinha and Neves are probably better midfielders compared to Ronaldo as a striker. No, he's better than probably most of their defenders outside of Nuno. He's better retrospectively than their goalkeeper. But yeah, like Messi, even still in his squad, is still I think of like a higher importance, and that's also comes with the role he plays in that squad. It's different than Ronaldo.
right.
Yeah, it's
And there are different
he is
stages and
more a part
different
of this
players
team.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think, and that's fine. Like I accept that as a Ronaldo. Like we accept it. Like man, my guy is
Hmm.
just not. He's not
Yeah.
the. He wasn't even the 35-year-old who was able to play at striker and just
Hmm.
hyperly incorporate himself and drift to the left because he still had that. He had
Yeah.
that pace. Like that's 7 years ago. I think people forget that. Like that's 7 years ago. So,
And hey,
um,
I had to watch Mike Tyson as like a disheveled self fight Jake Paul on Netflix as like, dude, hang it up. Like, you need to retire. Like, Ronaldo, it's not going to be bad. Like, I fully respect going to like 40 and being able to perform at the route and the level you have is still quality. So, like,
right.
there is a
This
bit
is
of that, like,
right.
okay, we can dial it back now.
Yeah. I just will not take no people telling me he's not top 50 or anything like that. I will not hear that. I'm hearing that there was never a GOAT case and all this. I'm like,
What
just
do you mean, like, top
relax.
50 all time?
Like, no. People are telling me like he was never like top five or he's not even better than some players. I'm like, okay, bro. Like this
Oh,
is where
yeah.
like the disrespect gets a little bit too loud. But it is what it is. What can you do, man? That's just weird ass social media nowadays. But yeah, we'll go on to I guess Argentina and France to kind of like close off and the rest of the groups as well. Argentina had an amazing performance, and like kind of like you said, man, they were just absolutely amazing again.
Mhm.
What's scary about Argentina, right, is they weren't even good that game. I know I just said they had an amazing performance. I take that back. They weren't perfect as like they were against Algeria because Austria was obviously going to be the better team, the more stronger team
Mhm.
with the players that they have and the defensive solidity that they have with goalkeeping and center backs and midfield, even with Sabitzer and you have your boy as well, Limer in there as
The
well,
Limer, yeah.
covering grounds. Yeah, so it was going to be a tough matchup for Argentina, but what's scary about them is even when they're not playing at their best, they get like the best goal scoring chance because of fucking Messi, bro. So,
Yeah.
um, two beautiful goals. I mean,
And
the
Pessi, he
first
did miss.
one,
He did miss a pen. I will admit that. We got to.
that was a bad pen, but the
That
two
was a
goals that he
fucking
scored were just
terrible pen.
absolutely.
That's one where like I was like Messi. I think I could have done better, and that's but it's okay. It's
Yeah,
whatever.
it's okay. Yeah, bro. It is what it is. But that goal that he scored, man. I mean, that's just a trademark goal, man. I mean that.
Mm.
You know what's funny? The day before we were playing Pro Club, shout out to first people reference of the day,
First
and I was like,
super.
dude, I really want to score like that one Messi trademark goal where he just curls it in and just with the left foot, first time, bam, pulls it into the bottom left corner. And of course, the day after, like he fucking scores that beautiful left curler. So, but no, I think the scary part about them is they're so solid defensively. I would say still, even with the not with the big names, and just Messi being decisive and clinical is just terrifying, man. Just completely fucking terrifying. No. So again, thank God I did not count them out. I have them as one of like you got to watch out for them. Like they're the champions for a reason.
Hmm.
France as well. I mean, kind of similar to Portugal. I mean, it's against Iraq, so I'm not gonna say too much about it. But good goals from Mbappe, I would say. Dembele got his first World Cup goal as well. But again, kind of like with Portugal, we'll have to wait and see in that final
Yeah,
matchup when they go up against a Norway team that have been absolutely amazing. Any thoughts on them, man? I think they've been
yeah. Like
class.
I think they've been for me like in the brightest spot, or maybe like the biggest growers as like on a national team level from this World Cup, because I think there had always been that sort of like Norway, oh, like last man out. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you just missed the World Cup. Like, there's always been this sort of coming short in Holland's career to start with qualifying for all this sort of stuff. That like I think people were expecting them to show up, but I think you've even been burnt by like, which maybe we'll get into them maybe more tomorrow. I'm never picking Turkey as a dark horse ever again. Sorry, you can't do this to me 4 times and like have it be burnt. You know, like Denmark every time, Switzerland a few years back. Like, there's these teams that like have always been picked as dark horses because you look at them and they have one or two great players. Not that those players have had an Erling Haaland, and there's always been that fear that like, okay, they've never been in this tournament. Maybe the lights are always going to be a little too bright to start with, and that could cause them to look out. No, Norway has come in like a whole like I'm just a well-oiled machine. It's funny that like Holland is obviously like kind of labeled the machine because it seems like the whole national team is sort of working in like a machine so well. Yeah, I mean, I've just been impressed from them as like as an 11-man unit. I think more. I think I it kind of has been the Erling Holland show just because he's been producing. But I think just the way that the team is gelled, even having someone like Oscar Bob be able to come off the bench and just having that sort of depth more now, they're scary. They're scary. Like even talking to my dad when watching that game, he's obviously watched a lot more World Cups than I have. He's like, there always seems to be like there's obviously great teams, but those winners always have a superstar. And I'm not going to sit here and say that Norway's going to win the World Cup. I think this would be more in a way of Norway going far. But if that unit is a well-oiled machine, they're good defensively. They've been the midfield is able to get the balls out. They're able to move on the counterattack. Like Holland's a player enough, like him enough at right now. He can carry a team to that. He can get a team a goal or two. That if you're able to put in those defensive performances, if your unit's putting in a good defensive shift, that's a team that can go far. That's a team that can upset a good nation in a round or two. And I think I have a lot more respect, I think, just for what this unit is capable of going forward than I think I ever had coming into this tournament.
Yeah, this was one of the matches that I'm so excited to see, that France versus Norway, because this is the battle of two superstars. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
close to like not close, but in almost like the similar realm of Goku versus Vegeta, right? That's the fucking name. I'm not into Dragon Ball Z.
My
Apologies.
brother,
I'm
I
not.
wish I could get my brother on the pod. He would know all that stuff.
If you can get him on real quick, give me the names of the two like like the two guys who go up against one another. Same thing right here. We're gonna see Mbappe versus Holland, and I completely agree with you. Um, I didn't unfortunately see the game because I was working. Shout out to Cafe, still at my job. Was not able to see the Norway game. I did catch the first half for France and a little bit into the second half when I was on break. But with Norway, I'm excited. I was really impressed with Odegaard from what I've seen in the highlights and stuff like that. I thought he looked really good, very explosive, very bright in helping with Holland. And everything you said about Holland is spot on. So that matchup is, again, I think with international football is just you have to get the best out of your best player. And if you can get
Mm-hmm.
the best out of Erling Holland and then support him with the right pieces that looks like they're playing through him and with him, and they have a decent manager, I would say, with the fans behind them too. I mean, the Norwegian row, like man, oh my god, some of these fans in the World Cup, bro, just have been absolutely amazing. I love them to death, man. I love some of these fans out here, man. But no, I'm excited for that matchup. That's gonna be must see. I mean, we've been waiting. We've had one of these matchups
Mm-hmm.
circled, so I can't wait to see that. But as always, let's do our Golden Boot update. Um, to kind of like close it off. So I guess right now, do you want to kind of lead that way, Mr. Hausen?
Yeah, I mean, it's no shocker with who is obviously leading for the World Cup. I mean, we talked about it sort of with it already. Messi has been responsible for every single Argentina goal, if I'm not mistaken. It was a 3-0 win. He had all three, 2-0 win. He had all two. So jokingly, we'll see if when Argentina play next, if he can continue the streak of being the sole goal scorer for Argentina in this World Cup. But then you obviously have that right behind Mbappe on four, Holland on four, and then you have Undav on three. I think it'll be important. I think he'll be getting up there a lot more as long as Germany, the farther they go, I think the more you'll be seeing him climb that total. You have Jonathan David at three, and then you have like right in that mix of like all the players on two, like Riazabal's on two, Balogun's obviously on two. So it'd be interesting. It's obviously you touched on it. It's the superstars leading right now with the goals. So I think the only one I'm taking out of that conversation is probably Holland. Funny enough, after coming off that last segment, I do think Norway, just comparative to the other teams, I can't bet on them going as far compared to maybe a France and Argentina. I think it really is just whichever team goes the farthest out of those three. It's pretty easy to say. I think it's fair to say Argentina. It's probably going to be Messi scoring a lot of their goals. France is trickier because I think they have so many different goal scorers that it can be. It just seems like it is Mbappe every time. He just is so good. He's been so good. He's turned up. He seems to be finishing all of his chances. So I think it's still going to be him. I think he'll still be France's leading goal scorer. Even just a connection between him and Elise, that's been on fire to start. Tell Perez to keep his hands off of him. I know he's been watching this tournament. You cannot have him, at least not this summer. You know that meme of the guy punching through his laptop? If that news ever breaks on one of our episodes, if I have a laptop that I can dispose of, you're seeing me log off by punching that screen. But no, I
I
mean,
Even if we
yeah,
get him, bro, all I'm gonna say if we do get him real quick, I'm so sorry, bro. I don't even want to like talk about it. I feel bad, bro. I
we
would
better
feel
steal
I
someone.
would not I couldn't even celebrate in front of you. I just couldn't. It'd just be too much for you, man. Because I think you would probably hate Madrid. I can't lose you hating
Oh,
Madrid for the
oh,
rest of your.
it would like I never thought. I don't think I've always said in my life there's never been a team I think I would hate more than the Boston Red Sox. That might push it over the top. Just like personally, what that would do to me, that might surpass my hatred for the Red Sox. I don't
Like,
want Madrid to do that to me.
that's why I'm hoping. Like next year, you guys win the Champions League, and you'd be like, you know
Yeah.
what, man? And he's like, dude, I won you the Champions League. We won the treble. What more do you want from me? I've done everything I want. I won a new
Mm-hmm.
challenge and won a new move. And he just like does it in the best way manner. And Madrid are like, hey, we're gonna
Yeah.
put in the bid. And he's like, okay, fine. Like that's what I'm hoping for. But if he leaves without not winning you guys the Champions League or with a Ballon d'Or at least, I will be like, damn, bro. Like I feel sorry for you,
Yeah.
bro.
It's like yeah. Yeah.
So
But
be like,
I
damn.
mean, what do you think for the Golden Boot? Do you think it's going to change that much? Do you think it is just sort of the same with like whoever
Messi's
goes
winning
the
the
farthest?
fucking Golden Boot. He's winning that
Yeah.
shit. He's winning it, dude. If you look at the possible opponents that he might be, well, next he has Jordan, which is the worst out of the fucking group.
Mm-hmm.
So that I see him scoring another one. So that'll be potentially 6, 7, 8, potentially 9 if he wants to go crazy and score
Mm-hmm.
another hat trick. So he has another favorable like opposition that he can easily go up against. Even though Jordan will be great offensively and give Argentina troubles, I think defensively they're just very frail. Um, I think that for opening hat trick, I think that just was for me. It was like, damn, bro. Like he's, and I'm looking at the next teams. I'm like, oh my god, he has Austria next, and he has Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
That's no disrespect. I'm not saying like it's
No,
easy.
but
Like
still.
no, no, no. I'm just saying like it's messy. Like this, that's bread and butter for him. He's gonna easily get a goal from there. I'm not
There was
even
some.
counting the fact that he might be playing against like other teams like Spain or France, where I don't think
Mm-hmm.
have anybody like no one can lock down this fucking Messi. Who just looked absolutely amazing. And I did say to a lot of people, I did say Messi's move to the MLS is such a genius move, only for the sense that he's gonna be load managing. He won't be playing at
Mm-hmm.
physical. He's gonna come in and ready to go. What I
No, yeah.
didn't wasn't expecting was I thought he was gonna be in his playmaking bag. I thought he was just gonna be assisting like crazy, dribbling through and allowing like Julian or Lautaro to get all these goals. I wasn't thinking he was gonna go in so sharp to the point where he's scoring like he's dribbling like the second goal against Austria. He went past the keeper, he went past the other one, he stayed on the ball, and then he finished it through like 2 legs. I'm like, come on, bro,
He's
you
back.
can't
Like he never
stop that.
left.
Like that's
Yeah.
just like I think everybody from here on out following Messi's routine is, yo, bro, I might go to MLS real quick and just low manage, and if we're still like a high like Mbappe, if you decide to like still kick ass with the French national team, just win a Champions League with Madrid, get us the first treble, and then go to an MLS and then go for your second or your third World Cup and
Seriously.
just play there and just keep yourself ready and
Hey,
sharp, ready to go.
maybe that's what
Be
Griezmann
good.
was thinking.
Maybe that's what he was. Well, now he's retired, so he can't.
That's true.
That
Yeah.
sucks for him. But I wish Ronaldo would have done that. But oh, actually, no, he
Well,
couldn't do that.
I don't know if he could
No,
have been in the U.S. at a certain
no,
stage. We'll
no,
leave it.
no.
We'll leave
That's
that
true.
there.
No, we'll leave that there. But no, I think Messi. I think even if you look at the next opponents that he has, like even in like the round of 32, can you search that up real quick? Who he has next? Like even look at his next possible
Yeah.
opponents from who he might face. I think from what I've seen, he has a favorable matchup in the round of 32, the round of 16, and even in the quarterfinals. I think semifinals is where it gets tough for him. But and then finals, obviously, because you're going up against like the best teams at that point. But I think he has a favorable matchup if he gets first, or it's the potential matchups like that he can get. But even through that, like, dude, I can see him scoring 5 in this tournament. I'm not even joking. Like more than 10 potentially in this tournament. Like I'm not even joking. Like he might go on another crazy scoring run.
I think it would like one of them. It looks like could be like a through or something like that. If that's one of the ones that they have, or like Uruguay maybe pop in their mixes, but I still think he'd be able to go in and get a result against Uruguay.
That'll be a
Um,
tougher matchup for him, but still, I favor him to get a goal against Uruguay with the rate that he's at.
mhm. um, I don't know as much
Well,
because
I
I don't.
think
I just don't know
Mbappe.
how much it's going to change.
Yeah. Well, I
Mm,
just say that potentially, like he could go up against like he wouldn't be going up against a Mexico in the round of 32, which would be tough, or he wouldn't be going against USA in the round of 16, or England in like the core. Like he's not. I think it's like favorable opponents like your Uruguays will probably be your tougher matchups. I think, and like it'll be like I don't remember like Cape Verde potentially or Curacao. I think that would be one of the matchups that he would go up against. So those are the type of things I'm seeing where like, dude, he might
Perfect
actually
time
win
for my
this
foot
thing.
mob to crash right now as I'm trying to find this out.
Damn. But I think that's where I have to go. I think Messi's on track to win it, which is insane. But who knows? Maybe Mbappe against Norway gets like a hat. I mean, I don't know. Like, who knows? This is gonna be tough because Norway has been really solid. I would say, although I will say defensively they're not the best though, so I will give them that. But I think offensively they will give troubles to like a they will present troubles to France because obviously they have arguably the best striker in the world, and with Sorloth in there and Odegaard, you know, we have to
Oh
wait and see.
yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Right now, as it stands, they would currently be playing Uruguay in the first round matchup, but they're on a bracket side with Australia, Iran, Canada, Belgium, and then Portugal, Paraguay, where they wouldn't have to play Portugal until I don't think the quarterfinals right now.
Right.
So like
So
that's you're playing Uruguay, and then if you win, you're playing the winner of Australia versus Iran, and
yeah.
that's also with like, yeah. So yeah, I mean the U.S. right now is
Yeah,
looking
I
like I
see
don't
him.
think
I
they
see
would
him
play
winning it.
Spain
I'm
until
seeing him
yeah.
winning it. I could see him winning the Golden Boot because I see him getting 2 against Jordan the next game,
Yeah.
unless Scaloni's just like, no, we're resting you, bro. Like you're not playing that game. We're gonna keep you fully ready to go to the round of 32, round of 16, which I wouldn't be mad, but like I also wouldn't blame him. He's like, dude, I'm just gonna score more
Well, actually,
goals
here,
just
let
to
me
keep my
share my
record
screen. This is
alive.
probably easier. Let me just share
Yeah,
it
if you
with
want
this
to.
one because you
Yeah.
have some pretty interesting quarterfinals on this as well. Because you have Germany, France, Netherlands, Morocco on one side. You then have Spain, Colombia, the U.S. Even like I'll throw the Chesney in there. That's an interesting lower side, but I'm still happy that that's our matchup. You got a Brazil, Norway, Mexico, and England, and then you have Argentina, Belgium, and Portugal on the others. So like again, a lot's going to change. But that's very interesting. Like even if France versus Sweden, we've seen how Sweden's been with the 5-1. You know, who's to say Mbappe can't get a hat trick or 2 goals? And you know what I mean? Germany isn't some defensive unit. I could see him bagging 2 against Germany. And then he's playing a Netherlands or Morocco. I could see him turning
Yeah,
up. Netherlands, they'll still be tough. Like they're going to be tough results regardless. Like I think they
dude,
probably have
I'm
the toughest side,
right.
but
Definitely, dude. I am liking the USA's bracket right now as I can see it from here, man, dude. I mean, look, USA versus Algeria. Whoever gets that second place, I favor us. Then
mm-hmm.
the winner of Egypt and Czech, I favor us with the way we're
Yeah,
playing. And then, I mean, I do
Spain or
see.
Spain in the quarters, it's wraps. That's right. I
Yeah,
think it's
that's
wraps.
probably right. Hey, bro, but look, all I'm gonna say is, actually, no, it's Raps, bro. I don't. I love Robinson. I love the Jedi, but the Jedi is gonna need like the
No,
army of the Jedi to stop Lamine Yamal on that
I would
right hand side.
maybe Colombia can get a nice little upset. I still wouldn't favor us against Colombia, but I think we have a better odds against the Colombia than a Spain. But that's really probably what we're rooting for there. Or
Yeah,
else,
and
yeah,
I
you're having an
yeah
18-year-old tear us up.
yeah. Plus, Team Ream's gonna be on that side too. I think that's where we'll probably meet his matchup, man. And who knows? Maybe we're overconfident. We might fucking lose to
Yeah,
Algeria and be like, "Damn it!"
we could very much lose Algeria, and it's like revenge for what was
Oh,
it, 2008 or something like that.
yeah, exactly. But I do favor us. I think we've been absolutely like one of the best teams in this entire tournament without question, man. Like we've been, I'd even argue we've been better than like Portugal in this tournament. I'm not even joking. Like, and we
Mm-hmm.
don't even have like the superstars that they have, and we're playing against I would say tougher oppositions like your Australias and your Paraguays, who are a way better defensive team. So,
Mm-hmm.
and look what we did. So, props to them. But any final predictions? I think Colombia playing a bit, and then we have I guess that'll be for tomorrow's episode, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Any final little quick shout out to the fans that have been at the World Cup, man. I think we kind of briefly
Yeah,
mentioned it with Boston and stuff, but
I mean, the fans have all been amazing. I know the Congo. I feel bad. I do not know his name, but the statue. He made it. He's in Mexico, I think, for this game. So I feel bad. I
really,
do not know his name. Yes, he was able to get in, so he's going to be at that game, which that'll be electric. I think I'll be excited because I think it'll be time for World Cup fans to get a taste of like a true soldier, a true dedicated fan there. But no, I mean they've all. I think the benefit is like they've all been amazing. Like I feel like even I didn't watch all of it, so maybe I'm wrong. But like I know a lot of people were talking about that Jordan Algeria game. Like I guarantee that's not going to be sold out. That looked pretty well attended that game as well. Like you're some of these smaller games, you're still pulling in good crowds. I think you're getting to see a lot. It's nice for Europeans to interact with real Americans in the sense that it's not like the stuff that they've seen over the news. I kind of entered the show talking about. I think that's been what's amazing is I think you've seen on a human level people be able to approach each other on levels that we haven't for quite a while. I think even just you don't realize how different other parts of the world interact just until you meet someone like that. You're not allowed to have your norms or your conceptions or your preconceived notions about people challenged until you either go out and experience that or that experience comes to you. And I think it's been just so beneficial for having that experience come to us because not only do they get to view us in a different light, but I think for a lot of Americans, you get how are people from Norway? How are people from Scotland? How are people from the DR Congo? How are people from Algeria? You're meeting people from Iran. Now, you obviously had some of the stuff with the Iran performance. You had some of those like Iran, Israel truthers. I don't want to speculate on a whole lot of this stuff. Seems like a lot of weird stuff to be jarring back and forth. Now you're obviously going to always have that come with it. Anytime you're going to be involved with America, that political side, that nature is always going to come up one way, shape, or form. But I think for the biggest thing for me for the fans has just been how nice on a human level I think we've all been able to come together. I think this tournament has been a lot about celebration. I think a lot of talk about it ahead of time was how bad it was going to be, how difficult it was going to be free. And not going to say it hasn't been easy. There's obviously been stuff with visas and people not getting allowed in and fans having troubles. And so I'm not going to sit here and say it's a perfect cup by any means. But I'd say from like the actual down to earth level, from what we've seen from people on stadium, on ground level, it's been amazing.
No, I completely agree with you, man. I mean, I'm gonna wait and see to make like one final take. It'll probably be a reel from all of us, really just sharing like our complete thoughts on the World Cup and the fans. But I've been just in love with this World Cup so far. I mean, and we haven't even got into like the knockout stages, that's which always usually are gonna deliver. Like we're gonna get something
Mhm.
special. I can feel it, especially with like the matchups and the brackets that we are gonna get with a France versus Spain semifinal, a rematch of the Euros semifinals that we saw last year, or England going up against an Argentina match, which I'm dying to see if we do get that.
Mhm.
Or other teams like Portugal maybe play against an Argentina on that side of the bracket, and we finally get that desired crucial matchup between Messi and Ronaldo.
Ooh, you either have
Um,
what? England, Argentina, England, France, or no, sorry, not England. What is it? England, Portugal, or Brazil, Argentina, or Brazil, Portugal, most likely coming out of that side. Those are
right,
all beautiful games.
beautiful games that will definitely like. I might have to call off fucking work, bro. I'm calling off work during those matchups. I'm sorry. I am. I have to. No one's stopping me. I have to call off work. I will get the phone, and while I'm serving the food, I will have the game up, or I'll have to grab a TV and put it in my thing. But no, I've just been absolutely amazed. And I think really, despite everything wrong that's been going on politically around the world with like the visas and the Iranian government and all this other type of things that I just don't want to get into because we're not a political, we're not quote unquote political, but we know how political sports is. We know that from a fact. It is what it is. I just love how the fans have kind of taken away all the negativity and just coming together. And that's what makes the sport so beautiful. It's not just the players, it's us, the fans. We're packing
Mhm.
stadiums we thought were overpriced and we're packing it with fuck it. It's like we might not have the money, but there's some that are willing to do it. Like Kieran today. Shout out to Kieran,
Mhm.
man.
Yeah, shout out to the doc.
Shout out to the doc who got to witness that masterclass. I hope he's for the next Portugal game. Maybe that's why they won. Maybe Kieran's juju brought good vibes to that Portugal team. But it's I've just been so amazed by the fans. Shout out to Boston again. Just they've been absolutely standout.
Mhm.
Um, the shout out to Texas as well. Like such a red state, but like they've been able to like, especially in certain areas, is able to embrace some of those people as well to come in and
Mhm.
do their things. Even Mexico as well. I know like it's the
Oh,
rivalry
them and
there,
the
but I
South
love
Koreans.
the South Koreans, the Japanese that have been up in those
Yeah.
games, the Colombians who've had a good time down there. I think they're gonna see some of the Spanish people go up in there too, so it's gonna be a blast, bro. And there's still so
Mhm.
many games. The Brazil's fans have been taking over the beaches as well at certain areas in Philly, and then in Miami too. They're gonna be going to Miami to take over for their matchups tomorrow. Just been amazing, man. I've just been so impressed with this World Cup so far in terms of like the environment, the fans, and some of the games too. Like we got the Norway France game, and we got some deciders coming up too. So, Portugal versus Colombia's next. Brazil versus Scotland tomorrow. I wish that USA Turkey game was better, but fucking Turkey had to fuck it up for everyone. But it is what it is, man. But we'll go more into the USA tomorrow. We'll go more into like stadiums and fans and all these type of things with
Mhm.
the rest of the game tomorrow. We do have a packed episode tomorrow. And we will be kind of recapping a little bit of those last day matchups, especially for like the second place of Group A, the rest of the Canadian group. I think USA plays the next day too. I think Brazil's group as well will be kind of determined later that night as well. But we'll
Mhm.
get into that for tomorrow's episode. But as always, Mr. Housen, thank you for hopping on, recapping the recent games as of today, get our takes out there, our opinions on certain things, and Yeah, that'll be all for today's episode, and we'll see you for tomorrow's first podcast episode. I would think just coming in together as a group and just recapping everything with the more organized settings. But thank you, and have a good rest of your day.